Let me send this out. Happy Tuesday. Come on in, come on in. Hello, lovey. Put a 1 in the comments if you can hear me clearly. And also let me know where you're watching from. Where y'all watching from today? Oh, I feel like I want to fix that. I don't know how I get. Let me see. Okay, I have something. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm trying to fix this. This child is gonna worry me. This other side I don't think I'm gonna be able to fix, but it's okay. I'm just gonna roll with it. I've never been to Mesa, Arizona. I've been to Phoenix. I've been to, hey lovey. I didn't know you were in Delaware. I've been to Phoenix. I've been to Sedona. I've been to a couple of different places in Arizona, but never Mesa. Interesting. And I haven't been to Delaware either. Okay. Come on in, come on in. So today we're going to be talking specifically about the hidden costs of hyper-competence and why your body never feels safe enough to really like soften up. So that's the conversation that we're going to have. She said it's right next. Is it really? Okay. I actually plan on being back in Phoenix soon, so I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. So for those who don't know who I am, my name is L. Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically. And it took me some time this year because I've been kind of sitting back and seeing. And Lasha, if you would please do me a big favor, will you email me specifically what ways that I've supported you? And then also, I would love if you would email me from your perspective, from being in courses with me consistently and different things like that. What is it that you believe that I do? And I want to hear that from you because I've seen you very consistently throughout this entire year. Okay. So if you could do that for me, I would absolutely love that. And if that works for you, in exchange, we can have a one-on-one if that's okay. So yeah. So just shoot me an email and then we can set all that up, okay? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So for those who do not know who I am, again, my name is L. Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist. And what I do, like I said, it's taken me a while to get very clear on like super, super tangible, like what it is that I specifically do for so many women and why do they, why do my clients make more money? Why do my clients, get healthier and lose weight? Why do my clients, attract better masculine and better relationships with the feminine? Like, what is it that my clients are really doing or what is really happening in the process? And I realize is that what I do specifically is I correct the emotional patterns of high functioning women using feminine science. I teach women how to fully connect with themselves and really pay attention to how they've been running on survival mode based type of emotional patterns the majority of their lives. And these are women that have become extremely successful. It's been a fuel to them. They've always been the one, all of these different things. And so when they come to work with me specifically, I use feminine science such as like energy, psychology, psychobiology, identity work, nervous system recalibration, and different things to help them correct the patterns that keep them stuck. So if you're stuck at a space where you've made this amount of money and you're trying to quantum jump up, I support you in being able to jump up. If you're in a space where you've hit a plateau just in your life and you're trying to figure out, health-wise, what you want this to look like for you, I support you in coming back into yourself, which is going to activate the discipline so that you can do the things that you need to do. So I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not a money coach. I'm not a, what's the other result that I get? A relationship, money, or health. I just understand energetics. Okay. So everything I teach is rooted in scripture and is backed up by science. That I study a lot of sciences, but I focus on specifically psychobiology, neuroscience, um, energy psychology. I'm an energetic psychology practitioner as well as my degrees and different things like that. So I love studying human behavior. I love understanding how we operate, because if you understand the way that you operate, the easier it is for you to be able to articulate your needs. When you can articulate your needs, or when you know your needs, you can say what it is that you want, and you're more likely to live a life that you actually desire, instead of being in a position to where you hate your life or you're settling for a less life. Okay. So this is something that's extremely important. So a lot of my clients come to me and I support them in really correcting those emotional patterns, because how it speaks, or when you hear people speak about manifesting and your emotions and your feelings, yes, those things do have a lot to do with it. So you being on the proper vibrational state in order for you to ascend, in order for you to grow, in order for you to lose weight, in order for you to make more money, in order for you to attract better, you have to do the necessary work. You have to first be willing to admit where you are, be truthful and honest with yourself so that you can get the support that you need. Because the biggest lies that we tell usually are the ones that we tell ourselves, okay? So today, I'm going to kind of help you uncover some of those things. I'm going to talk about what hyper-competence is, okay? The hyper-competence woman is the forgotten woman. Okay, I'm going to explain what hypercompetence is, so just hold tight. But that woman is the forgotten woman. This is the woman nobody really has to worry about. Nobody really asks if you're okay because they just assume that you got it. Hold tight, because this live is literally going to be for you, okay? So let's start off with talking about, because we're getting into the hidden cost of hypercompetence and why your body never really feels safe enough to soften, okay? If you see me looking, I'm on my iPad with my notes because I like to keep my notes in my iPad. So you'll see me scan down to try to keep me on track. I keep notes because I can go off on a tangent sometimes. So it brings me back and grounds me back into what I need to get done, okay? Do me a favor and save all your questions for the end, because I got you. I do leave time for me to be able to answer your questions, okay, that are pertaining to the topic at hand, or anything around anything that I offer and that I do, okay, and how I can support you. All right. So let's get ready to get into it. So let's talk about the version of you that everybody praises. Hi, Lovey. The one who's always good. The one who's always together. The one who's always strong. And I know a lot of y'all are claiming like, oh, I don't want to be strong anymore. Y'all, that's because you don't understand what strength really is, and y'all are operating on the wrong side of strong. This life requires a level of strength in order to thrive. Stop letting people play you and play on words and start paying attention to what's happening. Hi, Lovey. Okay? So, but I'm speaking to you though, the one who is always strong, who is always together, who is always good, the one who has all the answers, the one who keeps the peace, the one who carries the weight. Okay? The one who does whatever needs to be done even when she's tired. Okay? And let's also talk about the part that nobody sees, because this is what I really want you to grasp. Let's talk about the part that nobody really sees, the part that is tired of being a responsible one. You're tired of being responsible, and this is why a lot of you are struggling. Let me show you a dynamic real quick. I want to show you a connection, a correlation or something, okay? Many women who are in this position are tired of being the responsible one. They're tired of being the one with the answers. They're tired of always being the one, right? And because you're tired of being the responsible one, this is how some of you are putting yourselves in very dangerous positions. Because instead of seeking relationships that you align with, you actually are seeking relief. You're seeking relief from your responsibilities. And then you want to call that taking you out of your masculine and putting you in your feminine, when that is really not the truth. That is really not the key. What you have to understand is this. You feel overwhelmed by these responsibilities because you have things on your plate that you ain't supposed to be doing. You have responsibilities that were given to you by your parents that you still feel like you need to carry. And did you know that if you lose 4 pounds in your body, that relieves 16 pounds of pressure off your spine? And all I'm going to ask you today is, how many people are you carrying on your spine? See, some of y'all are positioning yourself to get played by men because you're seeking relief. And you're not really seeking relationship, and the real riches is in relationships, not in you seeking relief from responsibilities that you think that you have because you don't prioritize yourself. See, when you violate yourself to become self-sacrificing for others, there is no true value in that. You realize there is no true value in that. There is nothing holy about that. There is nothing scriptural about that. And y'all really need to stop allowing people to use the Bible to blind you. They got you thinking that everything you do has to require some form of a struggle when it does not. It does not. We don't realize that in all these responsibilities that we believe that we have, you don't even have half of those responsibilities. Your first and primary responsibility is yourself. That is scriptural for those who say that they are believers. Everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I'm a nerd. I live for this. I love it. I used to be 100 pounds heavy. I used to hate my life. I used to have horrible relationships with men. I used to work and be a hustler and burn out. And I used to be looking crazy. Now I'm a multi-six-figure business owner, and the business I built from the ground up without having to hustle. I literally get paid to speak, write, and teach for a living. I literally am walking out what it says in Proverbs 8 and 12. You have creative and witty inventions in your very being. I remember people telling me that nobody would ever pay a person for writing something. Stop letting people lie to you. There is nothing in your way but you. You don't need somebody to come in and relieve you of your responsibilities. You need to become responsible for yourself. And when you become responsible for yourself, you start treating yourself a different kind of way. You start valuing yourself a different kind of way. You become more magnetic. You become more radiant. All these different things start to happen. And when all these things happen on the inside of you, according to the law of radiation, those things will radiate out. And when those things begin to radiate out, what you will draw in are the things that you have been craving for the longest. And you will realize that they were always there, but you were not on the right vibrational state to be able to receive that. Nobody is on the frequency of love. It's coming down to the frequency of fear to join you in hell. They're not going to do that. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? If I love and I value myself, why would I stick with you when you don't love and you don't value yourself? Why would you live a nightmare? Why would I come down to live a nightmare with you? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So these are the things that you have to think about and you have to consider. Thank you, love. Okay? I know you're tired of being the one that has the answers. I know you're tired of being the one who is responsible all the time. You're tired of bracing for impact for the next thing that's coming. I know you're tired of being the emotional shock absorber. Everybody is coming to you all of the time. Tired of having no place to fall apart. I get it. I completely understand that. But if you've ever thought to yourself, I don't know how to not be the strong one, and this is not coming from a place of judgment because I've been there. If you've ever had it in your mind to where you're like, you know what, I don't even know what soft would look like for me. Or if I stop holding it all together, everything is going to fall apart. Then what we're talking about today is going to be for you. Because hyper-competency is not excellence. Hyper-competence itself, what it is, it's survival it's survival disguised as mastery. Because and it looks like you're a master of so many things. Like women say, oh, I'm not a jack of all trades. I'm a master of all things. You master achievement. You master external things. The school system is a system that was built for the feminine. It's a feminine system. English is a feminine language. This is why we as women excel with education. You understand what I'm saying? See, when you understand these things, you get really, really, really clear. See, all of these things, achievements and all of that, and they're all great. Trust me, baby. I'm mastered up. I'm bachelored up. I got certifications. I was in a doctoral program and I quit because I was in my ego when I was getting it. And I realized it and I quit. Because I thought that that's what I needed, because that was a part of my identity. Because when you introduce yourself, you say, hi, I'm such and such. Hi, I'm Dr. such and such. Hi, I'm this such and such. Hi, I'm this. And that is what your identity is wrapped into until you lose that position. And see, this is why you should not identify yourself with roles that are temporary. You should not make those things a part of your identity. Because being hyper competent, it's just survival mode disguised as mastery. You know how to you know how to make it appear as if you do well in the external system, but internally, you're no good. You crashing. This is what happens when a woman becomes so capable in the world that the world never has to care for her, that nobody even asks how she's doing. Okay? So I want you, if you've ever been in a space where you realize that you're hyper competent, put a 1 in the comments for me, because I've been this person, so I understand it extremely well. I'm the oldest daughter. I'm the first one to go to college. I'm the first one to graduate college. I'm the first one to get her master's. I'm the first one to start a business. I'm the first one to hit 6 figures in her business. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot of first. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of things, because I was raised to be very, 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 very self-sufficient. And then my life crashed. And I was going through a spiritual awakening. It was the start of my spiritual awakening. And I realized that I didn't know who I was outside of the things that I had achieved, outside of the things that I had done so well, and how highly people would speak of me. I had no clue who I was outside of those things. And that's a very, very, very dangerous thing. I want you to notice something about your life. You're the one people call when things go left. You're the one who figures it out. You're the one who emotionally holds the room at work, in family, in friendships. And because you can, people assume that you should. That's why they let you. That's why they let you. You're the planner. You're the crisis manager. You're the emotional translator, the stabilizer, the I got it friend. You're all of those things. But here's what I know is underneath that they may not know that's underneath. You actually struggle to receive support. This is why when you're complimented, you feel uncomfortable with compliments. Because in order for someone to compliment you, that means that they would have to really see you. And you don't like what you see. You don't like what you see about you. So therefore, you can't really receive that. So when they say or give you a compliment, oh, you have to insult yourself. Oh, girl, this and this and that. Oh, thank you so much. You look like this. You don't know how to sit back and just say thank you. You don't know how to sit back and just allow yourself to be witnessed. And women who don't want to be witnessed are women who are hiding because they don't really like what they see within themselves. And these are things that we really have to think about. What I also see is that you don't really trust, or you don't fully trust, being taken care of. That's also what I see. So while everyone else is seeing you being a planner and doing this and you getting it done, you don't trust anybody else to get it done. Sweetheart, you're not fooling me. You don't trust them to get it done. That's why you don't delegate. That's why you don't really seek support. You don't fully trust being taken care of. You also feel weird when you're not the one that's holding it together. You also low-key don't know what to do. when it comes down to softness, when it comes down to stillness, when it comes down to being poured into. You don't really know what to do with that. You question that because it's not something that you're really accustomed to. It's not something you're accustomed to. And because of that, you might do things like overfunction in relationships just to underreceive. You may do things like take on another person's emotional weather as your responsibility. You may do things like jump to fix things that nobody asked you to fix. And then you get pissed off when somebody said, I didn't ask you to do that for me. And the reason why you're really pissed off and you're upset about that statement is because you have to face the reality of that. You did that for a reason. You did that for some form of return. You didn't do that from the kindness of your heart, because if you did, you would have given cheerfully. See, and cheerful givers are not attached givers. We're not attached to the outcome. Why are we not attached to the outcome as a cheerful giver? Well, it tells you that in scripture. Whatever a man sows, ye shall reap. It's better to give than to receive. The reason why it's better to give than to receive is that if you're giving value, you're always going to receive value. So you're never attached to what it is that you give. If I give you $100 and you can't give me back the money or whatever the case may be, I decide to give it to you. I'm not hard up about you giving me the $100 back, but I guarantee you some kind of way, another $100 is going to find me when I need it. I'm not attached to the outcome. And see, a lot of you are attached to the outcome. Thank you, my love. Hi, loving. You're attached to the outcome, which is why you don't like when they tell you to your face, they didn't ask you to do that, because they didn't ask you to do that. That's the truth. And a lot of times as women, we don't like the truth. We love knowledge. And we love knowledge, but we never want to be schooled for real. We love knowledge. Thank you for the love and these and the follows. We love knowledge, but we never want to learn the lesson for real. To be the most educated group and still lack so much wisdom, when wisdom is referred to as a her in scripture. Read the book of Sirach in the Ethiopian scripture. And find out about the feminine, the divine feminine, when it comes down to the aspect of wisdom. Do you understand that when it talks about in scripture and it's talking about a man finding a wife, he finding a good thing because he finding favor in the Lord? You know the favor that he's finding when he finds his woman? That's if he finds a wise woman. Because wisdom manifests. Wisdom activates. Wisdom is experience. It's not knowledge. It's not the same thing. It's not even intelligence. Wisdom is something that you embody. It's not something you receive. It's something you embody. When I hear women say things to me, oh, you have so much wisdom. Honey, this is manifestation, experience, application, intention, pain. I embody because I face. And this is something that we have to start doing. We have to start being real. Thank you, my love, for these comments, these likes, and these follows. So you may do things like feel guilty when you rest. You may feel naked when you're not useful or on. When I hear a woman say to me in regard to the masculine, he just won't open up to me. He just won't tell me. He just won't be emotional. He just won't do this. He just won't do that. This is a woman this is letting me know that this is a woman who is used to being in an emotional dumping ground. And she has made that her primary baseline. Let's get into it. You understand? So because that is your primary baseline, you have the expectation for everyone to come into your space and dump on you. This also lets me know that you're not really clear on your feminine design. You don't understand the science of your feminine nature, because if you did, you would understand that the masculine does not operate like that emotionally. And you would not personalize his experience because it's not your own, which takes me back again. You take on other people's emotional weather as your responsibility. Let me make his day better. Did he ask you for that? Were you asked for that? Or are you doing something that you would like to be done for you and you're projecting? See, you don't understand how much you're projecting. onto people. The Ethiopian scripture, yes. It is, I think yeah, it's actually near me. Hold on. He didn't ask you for that. Let me make his day better. He had a bad day, so I decided I was going to do all this, do this, do this, do all of this, do all of this. And when you having a bad day, and when all of that is not done for you, are you okay with that? If some light is done for you, are you cool with that? See, this is why you should be doing things from the true genuineness and cheerfulness from your heart. Because when you're doing it from a heart posture space, you don't need to prove your love in action as a feminine woman. You don't have to do that. See, that's masculine, actually. Let me make this day better. Ma'am, they want your... listen. I ain't even finna listen. Ma'am, they want your energy, ma'am. You got to understand that they going out here and they doing all of this work and they doing all of these things in their world. They're treated like nothing, especially if you are dealing with a man who has to answer to another man. You understand? They getting chewed out all day. So when they are coming into the space, they want the energetics. They want your energy. They want the fantasy. They want this. They want that, right? They want your energy. You don't have to perform. You have to simply be. Because by you being, they want to do more. It makes them motivated and inspired to go and do more for you so that you can just be, because you just that much of a vibe. I was watching something on TikTok. I was watching Cardi talk, and she was saying how people like, why me? Why me? Why me? And she was explaining like how she is and the vibe that she is. You missing it. You too busy trying to do. Let me make your day better. Go doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this. Are you his mother? Are you his mother? Is it your responsibility to improve the day of someone else? Do you really have that much power? Are you the Most High God? I'm trying to understand. What's going on? Why are you so responsible for other people's emotional weather? I know why. Because you was responsible for walking on eggshells at home when you were a child, and you were responsible for the emotions of other people in your home. See, the weather, it was a tornado at home. You didn't know if your mom, especially if you was raised by a single mom who was stressed, you didn't know if she was coming home with attitude. You didn't know how you didn't know how she was coming. You didn't know how she was coming. So you learn to walk on eggshells. You learn to manage the emotional weather of other people. And then you turn around and you ask yourself questions like, why do I feel so lonely when I'm surrounded by people? Or why does no one check on me like I check on them? Or why does everything feel a lot when I'm really fine? You're not broken. She said, I'm a little too accurate. All praises to the Most High. You're not broken. Let me just put you on game with that too. You're not broken. You're overdeveloped in survival. That's why it's so this is why you want to do different, but you feel like you can't do different. You're overdeveloped in that space. And when you are in misalignment too long, it begins to impact your physical body. This is why who people stay on jobs or stay in relationships they're not supposed to be in that are misaligned, they start getting sick, because misalignment starts spiritually first. Then it's mental, then it's emotional, then it shows up physically. Okay, this could be financially, this could be socially, but it's going to show up. All fragments of it. Okay, so let's get into the space of how this links to your body and your nervous system. Okay, hyper-competence isn't a personality trait, beloved. Please stop identifying yourself as that, okay? Because I already told you it's survival mode. Thank you, Lovey, for these gifts and these likes and these comments. That is survival mode masked as mastery, because you have all these achievements and degrees and different things like that, right? Hypercompetence is not a personality trait at all. It's a nervous system strategy. See, your nervous system follows what's familiar. I have a YouTube video where I talked about that, okay? At some point, your body learned if I'm useful, I'm safe. At some point in your life, your body learned, if I'm needed, I won't be left. Get into that abandonment. Okay? Get into that, if I'm useful, then I'm safe. If I'm useful, then they won't let me go. If I perform, I'm valued. Girl, you better please that man. Girl, you better do everything you can to leave, and you better do everything, because that's the only way. See the mind games? If I'm strong, I can't be disappointed. See, these are the things you have to think about. So your nervous system learned those things. So your nervous system literally started running on a quiet rule that you don't even realize. So your nervous system basically started running on the rule that I'm safest when I'm in control. This is why I be saying y'all be being so fake when y'all be talking about y'all love God so much and God is y'all life and the Most High is this and the Most High is that. If the Most High is this and the Most High is that, you wouldn't be trying to control the scenario. You wouldn't try to manipulate men to get what you want to get from them. You would only align with men who align with you, who align with your standards, which go hand in hand with your values, because you value yourself. See, you wouldn't have to play these games. You wouldn't be on TikTok trying to figure out. Women ask me all the time, how do you have this? My friends say, oh, how does this happen with you and men? And how does this really work? I'm me. And if you would be you, that would radiate. And when that starts to radiate, according to the law of radiation, see, here's the thing. You ain't above spiritual law and you ain't above scientific law. You can't defy really either one of those. You either going to make it work for you or you're going to work against it. The law of sowing and reaping, y'all love to say you're going to reap what you sow. You love to say that when somebody is doing something to you and you want to try to speak it to them as if it's a curse. Meanwhile, you're not using it to gift yourself. You cursing yourself. You're not even sowing value into yourself so you can receive value. You're not sowing value output so that you can get an input of value. You're not even doing that. But you talking about somebody, you cursing somebody saying they're going to get what they supposed to get because they did you a certain kind of way. You ain't doing right by you. You cannot have an expectation for people to do right by you when you don't do right by you. You are not an energetic match for people to do right by you. You don't do right by yourself. Doing right by you, people have no choice but to do right by you. Because if they do wrong by you, guess what happened? They don't get access to you. They don't get access to you. Real simple, real easy. They don't get access. And so these are the things that you have to start paying attention to, because your body went into this quiet rule of I'm safest when I'm in control. That rule lives in your body, not your mind. So that's why you can say something like you want softness and still choose people that you have to carry. Because I'm safest when I'm in control is in my body. But your mind saying, I want a healthy relationship. You can say, I want partnership and still take on the parental role in a relationship. Because in your body is saying, I'm only safe when I'm in control. You can also say, I want rest and still feel compelled. As soon as something happens, you got to get up and fix something, advise or step in. You can't put your phone on, do not disturb. This is why you can say things like, I want to be provided for, and still feel uneasy when somebody offers you something. You feel like you gotta give some. The amount of conversations I have to have with women about how you don't have to give nobody nothing because they're giving you something is crazy work to me. It's crazy work to me. Y'all take being you there is no such thing as being courteous with your body. See, the reason why you can trade off your body like that is because you don't understand the portal between your legs. You don't understand the pathway between your legs. You don't understand that's life. And so when it talks about guarding your gates, that's a gate that's supposed to be guarded. Do you understand the energy that comes from that? Do you understand what people can put down within you? And you wondering why you can't get yourself together? You have to remember, it's not that you specifically don't want softness. Your body doesn't trust in it yet. And when your body doesn't trust something, I don't care what you think you want mentally. This is why mindset work don't be working on y'all. This why mindset work don't be working on you. This why these affirmations don't be working for you. I'm just telling you the truth. Your body does not trust that. You haven't rewired your nervous system. Your body trusts the following: tension, over responsibility, mild to severe anxiety, being one step ahead, being the emotional anchor for everybody. Softness feels suspicious to you. Care feels confusion to you. And being held feels almost disorienting to you because you don't really know what that's like. Not because you're dramatic or anything like that, because your nervous system literally has been wired to survive, not soften. You can't be pulled out of your masculine responsibilities. Please, y'all have to stop saying things when you don't understand yourself. When you don't understand the worst thing, and I said this, the worst thing that you could do is know so much about somebody else and everybody else around you. I see women know everything about men from the way he sleep and all of this. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and all this different stuff. Baby, from you knowing his ex-girlfriend because you didn't went and stalked her. But when I ask you about you outside of what you do for work, you can't tell me who you are. That's insane. To have all of that information on everybody else and none on you is nuts. Thank you, lovey, for these gifts. Good morning. Okay? These are the things that we really have to start thinking about. That's extremely important. So let's talk about the hidden cost in this experience that a lot of women are experiencing. Thank you, lovey, for these gifts and these likes. I truly appreciate you. Now, from the outside looking in, these same women, they look like they have it together. They look like they're so strong. They look like they're unstoppable. But there is a cost. There is a cost in love. There is a cost in friendship and family. There is a cost in money and work. And I'm going to break some of those down for you today. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts. And thank you for these likes. In love, let me tell you what it costs you to be hyper-competent. You attract people who lean on you, but who can't ever really hold you. You end up being the therapist, the mother, the manager, and the motivator in the relationship. You rarely feel like a woman. You literally feel like the structure. And let me put you on game. If you are in a relationship and you feel like the structure, baby, I want you to think about the word masculine, masculine, okay? Line is direction. Line is order. Line is structure. If you are the one in the relationship who is the structure, the planning, the doing this, you are in the energy of the masculine. And just like I told you that you can't defy science and spiritual law, you can't defy the energetics of the law of polarity. The law of polarity states there is going to be, like, there's north, there's south, there's good, there's evil. And guess what? There's masculine and there's feminine. So if you are operating in the energy of the masculine, it is the feminine that's going to be drawn to you. Do you understand? I'm not going to explain feminine right now, but 9 is a number of completion. When you think about 9 months, you think about 9 fruits of the spirit. You think about the 9th hour. The feminine multiplies, okay? The feminine magnifies and amplifies. So, of course, if you are in the masculine, that man is going to double down on you working harder. You're going to have to be the one who's working harder so that the feminine can amplify on the benefits of just being there. Because a lot of women are paying for what? Not protection, not provision, but presence. And that's how I know you in your masculine energy, because the masculine pay for presence, because they need our being. Last time I checked, when Adam got here, he was looking lonely and sad. When he first got here, he had a little job because he was naming the animals. When he realized that job wasn't enough, he needed something else, he started getting sad. Okay? And when he started getting sad, that is when the Most High realized, It's not good for man to be alone. This is why the wife could die and he could have a girlfriend at the funeral. This is why the wife can be gone and he could be with somebody tomorrow, because they don't like to be alone. They need your being, and you're paying for their presence. That's crazy work. I need you to see how much you are in misalignment and why you getting sick. See, when we as women are in misalignment too long, we start having womb issues. We start having autoimmune issues. You can't afford to be in misaligned spaces, sweetheart. It's bad for your health. And you can't create wealth. So you feel stuck and you stay until you. And what quality of life is that? What quality of life is that? Thank you, my love, for these follows. So again, in love, I told you, you attract people who lean on you, but who can't really hold you. You end up being the therapist, the mother, the manager, and the motivator, and you rarely feel like a woman because you feel like the structure, the masculine. In friends and family, though, let's talk about the cost of you being hyper-competent. You're the default problem solver. You're the family manager. Your no doesn't always land because it's easy for your family to guilt trip you real good. You feel responsible for everyone's emotional temperature. That's the cost. Let's talk about the cost when it comes down to you being hyper-competent, when it comes down to money and work. Guess what you do? Over-deliver. See, this is the people who work at corporate 9-to-5s who allow them to pimp you into volunteering for things when they never planned on promoting you. So performing for free performing in general is a whole nother thing, but performing for free, like it's a minstrel show, like you're a circus, that's insane. That's insane. And I'm serious. That's just extremely insane. And it's extremely pointless. So when you are so hyper competent, you got to have it all, you got it all together, you will over deliver, you will over give. Okay. And you also become the invisible backbone of projects, teams, or even families. And yet you still struggle to feel supported. All of a sudden, everybody lean on you. Oh, you smart. See, this is why, let me tell y'all one of the greatest things about one aspect of the 48 laws of power. When it talks about playing dumb, there are people who will come into spaces who have a multitude of knowledge, and they will get into group experiments or group scenarios or group experiences, and they will not say a word. They will sit back and they will assess the room to see who's going to get up and talk first. Because whoever gets up and talk first said, oh, I'll do it. That's the one who wants to get up initially and perform. And so they allow them to get up and perform. And when something happens or when something is really needed at a certain time to be able to get something done, it's normally the person who sits back, who's watching, who's able to speak once, and that one thing that person says moves the entire group experience into another level, a better experience, or a great idea. Okay? These are the things that you have to pay attention to. When you coming in and you feel like you need to prove yourself, you need to impress somebody, or you need to defend, you are operating from your ego. You're operating from your ego. So like I said, in money and in work, what it costs you doing all this oh, I got it, I'm the one. You over-deliver, you over-give, and you become the invisible backbone of projects, teams, and families, and you don't even get no extra pay. Why are you volunteering? Why are you doing free work? Baby, first of all, I don't believe in manual labor. You understand? That's why I believe Proverbs 8 and 12. You have creative and witty inventions in your very being. You're not meant to be broke. Thank you, God, for the gifts that he has placed within me. And I've chosen to activate those gifts so those gifts can make room for me. I hope that you do the same, because guess what? It's out here for you if you want to get it. Or you can keep being a slave to a system that's going to make you get sick and look crazy. Because the system don't care about you. They never did. They never will. Stop trying to advocate for them. Advocate for yourself by showing up for yourself first. Stop being the backbone, because I just told you, it scientifically says, right, that when a person loses 4 pounds, there's 16 pounds of pressure off your spine. And I'm just going to ask you, how many people you carrying on your spine, sweetheart? And why? Okay? When you're doing things like I was saying in love and friendship and family and money and in work, you start normalizing things like emotional exhaustion. I am there are people you can get on the phone with, and every time you talk to them, it's like, I'm so exhausted, I'm so exhausted, I'm so exhausted. Y'all have normalized emotional exhaustion. That is not normal. Thank you, my love, for these likes and these follows. It is not normal. Y'all have normalized resentment that you swallow. I got a hair from a makeup brush on my face. I can see it, but I can't get it off. You also normalize crying when you finally just get by yourself and you get alone. You don't know nobody see you crying, and as soon as you start crying, you like this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing for your tears? Why are you apologizing for being human? Aren't you a human being? No, you under the programming of being a human doing. You forgot that you're a human being. Ain't that wild? Real wild. You're crying, you're apologizing for your tears. What is you sorry for? It's not making any sense. You feel guilty for needing anything, so much so that you don't ask nobody for nothing. And you helping everybody. You helping everybody. But you dare not call nobody and ask for no help. What do you mean? What do you mean? Thank you for these lovies. And then you shame yourself for being tired. On top of that. But here's the truth that you got to understand. Your body has been running in emotional overdraft for years. 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 It didn't just start. Your job ain't burning you out. Your family ain't burning you out. It's the beliefs you have around being all of those things for everyone and everything that has you burn out, because you believe you got to do all that. And belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. Don't believe me? Think about the person who has pregnancy scares. You really thought you were pregnant, right? Until you took the pregnancy test. You were doing everything. You were throwing up, you were doing this, you was doing that. Come to find out you weren't even pregnant. Well, how did that happen? Because belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. The brain does not understand that you're joking. If you say, oh my God, I'm pregnant, the brain registers, okay, what do we know about pregnancy and all those things? Let's activate those systems in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. That's literally what's going on. You tricked yourself into believing. So just imagine what it looks like. And if you also don't believe me, belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. Let me really break it down for you. For those millennials like myself who watch Final Destination over 25 years ago, how many of you are still get nervous or move out of the way when you see a big log truck in front of you? Though you've never witnessed an accident with a bunch of logs falling down, though you've never been in a scenario where a log has fallen off and hit you, though you've never even seen that in real life, because you saw it on TV. See, the TV, the television gave you that vision. The television gave you that vision. It told you a vision, and you believe the vision. And because you believe the vision, it evokes fear in you. And fear is not of the Most High. That's what it says in Scripture. I'm just telling you what it say. I'm just telling you what it say. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these lights. I'm just telling you what it say. It says that the Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but yet here we are so afraid that we got to move out the way because I don't want the logs to fall on me. That's what these are the things that we have to pay attention to. Belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way that you behave. A lot of you have been in emotional overdrive for years. You're not weak. You're not underheld. You are just in a space where you have been overdrafted and exhausted. And a lot of you may be thinking, okay, well, I've done therapy. Okay. Some of you may be thinking, I journal, or I'm self-aware, or I know my patterns. That's beautiful. All those things are beautiful, and all of those things matter. But can I tell you something? Can I tell you something that probably is going to rock you? This is exactly why women that come to work with me, it's two things that happen. Usually, sometimes they have a therapist they're working with. I've had a lot of experiences where women have left their therapist to come and work with me. I have therapists who come to work with me specifically because of this point that I'm about to bring home that nobody had probably ever thought about. Therapy and mindset work often live here. Those things live here. That's just more knowledge that you're adding to your brain, baby. It's not hidden here. It got to hit here for it to work. You understand? It has to penetrate to the heart space because out of the heart, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. This is why you are to guard the heart above everything else. You notice out of everything it told you to guard in scripture, it told you to guard your heart above everything else. Because from it life flows. The quality of your life depends on the state of your heart. This is why mindset and therapy practices are only landing right here. They're vital, they're important, but they're landing here. And you need penetration here. Okay? Hyper-competence lives here and here. I'm putting my hand down on my belly. Your hyper-competence lives in your heart space and in your nervous system. That's why this ain't working for this or this. You have to address what is happening within the body. You can't just address the mind. That's why you can't change your life with your thoughts. Okay? So it's so important and so vital for you to grasp this. How do you speak truth to people who want to be lied to? I allow people to choose whatever they want. That's free will. The Most High gave us free will. I'm not here to force anyone to believe anything. More than anything, I'm here to inspire you to think. In what I say, I am the person, I am speaking things that people have secretly prayed about. I am speaking things that people secretly behind closed doors cry about. I'm speaking about things that people see in the mirror, but they don't necessarily speak on. And those women will recognize my voice. And when those women recognize my voice, they will be in tune and they will be inclined. And then they'll go and assess. And they'll come back to me if they need to, if it's in alignment. And that's just how that goes. I don't worry about the people who want to be lied to. Those are not my people. I'm not concerned with them. Hyper-competence is what happens when a woman becomes so capable that the world never has to care for her. Nobody asks about her because she knows how to do everything on her own. That's what hyper-competence is. And that energy of hyper-competence lives in your heart space and in your nervous system space because that is a part of your architecture, meaning the way that you were built up growing up. Okay? So let's get into it. Like I said, therapy and mindset is sitting up here. Hyper-competence is in here. It's in here. That's why even though you keep going to therapy talking about how you're so hyper independent and this keeps you keep repeating the same cycle because we're not addressing here and we're not addressing here. Okay? You can understand your childhood. You can understand attachment. You can even name your fears. Thank you, my love, for the follow. And you can possibly even regulate in the moment. And still, you can have all these tools, because these are tools and things that you get in therapy. You go to therapy, you start understanding your childhood. You go to therapy, you start understanding, okay, I have an attachment issue. You go to therapy, you start understanding how to name your fears. You go to therapy, you learn how to regulate in the moment. But guess what? All of those things, guess what you're still doing? You still pick the same emotional role in every single relationship that you get in. You still feel unsafe when somebody gets really too close to you to be able to see you for real. You still feel like you're bothering people if you have needs, so you don't really say nothing. You still feel a little bit of a panic when you're not actually executing and producing something. Because this is not just about the knowledge that you're getting or the advice that you're getting or the insight that you're getting from someone else. This is about your body's association with safety. If your nervous system is not rewired to receive safely or safety, guess what? You're going to continue to attract chaos. If you grew up in instability, that's why you keep going back to it. Your nervous system still needs something. It's still settled. We got unfinished. You know what they're saying when you keep going back to stuff that don't belong to you? We got unfinished business. We haven't learned the lesson yet. That's really what's happening. That's why you keep repeating the same time loop over and over and over again. You're not breaking a pattern. If you want to break the loop, you're going to have to crack open the pattern. You're going to have to see it for what it is. Okay? So like I said, this is your body's, this is about your body's association with safety. So a lot of you, your system has learned to be soft is to be exposed. To receive is to be indebted. When I hear a woman say that you feel like you need to sleep with him because he bought you something or because he did that, that turned my stomach. That turned my stomach. Hi, Joseph. That turns my stomach. Why do you feel like you're indebted? But see, that's something that goes back to the root of self that has to be addressed. A lot of you are in a space that are thinking, okay, needing equals being weak. That's not what that means. Also meaning that letting go equals is dangerous for somebody to let you go. When you know people, let me tell you something. The adult you knows people die every day. So why is it so hard for you to let go? That's that inner child. That's their upbringing. That's their architecture. That's their nervous system. You know why you got attachment issues? Because they were built up. You are supposed to be detached from this world, not attached to it. You're not supposed to be attached to anything, not even your children. Nothing belongs to you. Nothing belongs to you. The only thing that you are in control of is over yourself. You are to detach from things because your adult self knows that people die every day. It is the inner child issue. It's the attachment issue in that. It's the nervous system pattern in that has to be paid attention to. And because you have this wiring currently, okay, it keeps you in roles that match your story. So if all you tell yourself, and let me do this for people who've been abandoned by a parent. Let me bless you real quick with let me bless you with a choice. And I pray you choose well after I say what I say. If you had a parent to abandon you, most likely we have a bit of abandon issues. Most likely we have a bit of attachment, some issues, maybe some anxiousness, maybe some avoidance, kind of a mix of that, right? I am going to tell you two stories, and you are going to have to choose which one you're going to go by when I get done. If you don't want to do it, log off now, because you can't unsee or unhear what I'm about to say, and you're going to be responsible for what you hear and what you allow me to say to you in this space, okay? If you were abandoned by a parent, and the narrative that you tell yourself is that my mama left me, my daddy left me, my mama left me, my daddy left me, my mama left me, my daddy left me. Everybody will continue to leave you in order to fit that same story and that same narrative. And you will not be able to see your contribution of how you possibly could have abandoned yourself in order to appease this person who eventually abandoned you because you were really a shapeshifter. And a shapeshifter can't be trusted. Okay? So you can continue to tell yourself that story, or you can tell yourself, my father, my mother, they taught me a very, 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 very valuable lesson. They taught me how to be self-sufficient, and they taught me how to thrive in their absence. Choose your story, baby. Choose your story. One of them makes you a victim. The other, a victor rises. Choose your story. Were you abandoned, or were you prepared? Choose your story. Be very careful of the narrative that you tell yourself, because it's very easy to put yourself under a spell. A lot of you have enchanted yourself. And when I say you have enchanted yourself, you have put yourself under spell, you have enchanted yourself because you have continuously stated, my dad left me, my mom left me, my dad left me, my dad left me, my dad left me, my dad. You are chanting that. Do you understand that? Do you see how that just shifted? My mom left me, my dad left me, my mom left me, my dad left me, my mom. You are literally pouring consistently the spell of abandonment over yourself. And the first element of abandonment in your adult experience starts with self-abandonment. And this is how you start doing things outside of yourself to try to keep somebody because you don't want to be abandoned. Because the story that you're telling yourself is that everyone abandons you. But the truth is, people are going to continue to abandon you when you abandon yourself, when you abandon your boundaries, when you abandon your standards, when you abandon your values. See, abandonment starts in the home, literally and figuratively. See, and I can speak from that space because I understand it. See, I know what it's like to tell you, keep yourself enchanted in a spell. And I know what it's like to free yourself by understanding the shift of the narrative. Always pay attention to the narrative that you're telling yourself, because oftentimes it'll keep you in a trap. And a lot of you are in a trap because you have enchanted yourself and locked yourself into a spell. Y'all locked in, all right. Y'all locked in, all right, but not locked into what it is that you actually should be locked into. Locked into a time loop that disgusts you. Locked into a time loop that's draining you. These are the things that you have got to pay attention to. Until your nervous system has a different experience of safety, you will continue to revert even when you know better. This is why you don't do better when you know better. Now it makes sense to you. I'm telling you, the reason why you know better but don't do better is because your nervous system is still on the same system. It still keep rewiring. Everything I'm telling you is not about forcing you to be vulnerable. This is about teaching your body that it's safe not to perform. You don't have to be fake. You don't have to do, you have to be. You're a human being. I want to name a few patterns, okay, that might be running you quietly that you may not realize, all right, or running within you quietly. You may wait until you're empty before you let anybody see that you're okay. You start telling people you're messed up when you're at the breakdown point. You don't say nothing beforehand. You see the rain coming, but you don't say nothing until you're in a full-fledged storm. You don't ask directly. You hint. And then you get hurt when people miss it. See, women do this a lot with men. Women do this a lot with men, and I always have to tell them, "What, ma'am, you playing yourself, sweetheart. I ask for what I want. I can't relate. If I want money, I'm asking for it. If I want this, I'm asking for it. If I want this, I'm asking for it. Well, I feel like I shouldn't have to have. Well, don't get what you want." Because I've been in a space where I did not ask and I just assumed and this and that. No, I want this. The worst thing you could tell me is no. I'm not afraid of no. Like, be for real. Some of you are in a space when you do receive, you feel like you got to pay it back quickly, immediately. Somebody did this to you. Let me hurry up and do this back. That's masculine. Let me hurry up and get this back to you. Why? For what? What are we doing? Okay. And here's the thing, another thing that's really interesting with a lot of women who are in this space. You low-key don't trust women who are truly soft. You feel like they being fake. You question if they serious. I've seen women do it. There are women I've seen women who are in their feminine who have, a little bit more of a high-pitched voice, and they're just kind of being themselves. They're bubbly, they're this, and they're that. And sweetheart, I've seen the hyper-competence woman hate on her in real time. I've seen women try it with me in real time. And I'm to see if that's really high. And what it is that it's a coveting of the outcomes that she thinks that the woman is getting with her energy. It's the I wish somebody would come and really help me. See, I can tell you that when I was like hyper masculine, years ago in my 20s, I looked down on women that stayed at home. Sure did. See, I can see one thing about me, baby. I'm real about me, okay? So I looked down on women who stayed at home. I thought they were lazy. I thought they weren't doing anything. I thought this, I thought that. I was so ridiculous with myself. I was so ridiculous with myself. And the truth was, deep down, baby, I would have loved to not have to be working and doing this and doing that and not worrying about it, like da da da. And I remember even saying one time to a homegirl of mine, we were young, she was like, I'm gonna get this degree, girl, and I'm just gonna get married. And I'm like, girl, so what did you get the degree for? Like, what you just to go and just be his wife and do that? Just judging, not realizing what exactly is happening in their dynamic, not really understanding a household and how people set up their kingdoms, not realizing that I would have loved for somebody to be in that type of space and not really didn't really understand it until I got married, right? So these are the things that are extremely, extremely important to pay attention to, because a lot of times women don't like women who really be feminine for real. Y'all like the fake feminines. Y'all don't like women who really in their feminine, because you see what feminine energy does to a room, what it does to the masculine, what it does to children, what it does to people. People just are so enamored by it. And because you're not getting that type of energy and you're not getting that, that's an issue for you. That's an issue. And that's crazy. Okay? They said, but why does what they're doing matter as long as y'all vibe? I'm saying, for real. But people are not, we have to be honest about women, and I think that we don't tell the truth about ourselves. A woman who has not risen above her animalistic nature is manipulative by nature. A woman who is untamed, and that's something I call an untamed woman. And a woman that's untamed like that, when she first meets another woman, she's putting her in a hierarchy. Is she prettier than me? Am I prettier than her? Is she smarter than me? Is she this? Is she that? These are hierarchical internal things that women will not necessarily say out loud, but they do. Women will befriend you because a man said something to you, and this is the man that she wants. I'm telling you, the untamed woman will move like this. And this is why I always think it's funny when men underestimate women. And this is exactly how experiences happen, where a young lady gets acid thrown in her face by another young lady because she had no idea that he was dealing with somebody else, because he didn't think it was a big deal to deal with both of them, because he underestimated how women operate with each other. Women only compete over pipe. Let's just be real truthful here. Women don't compete. We finna go make, who finna make the most money? We don't want to compete over real stuff. Untamed women compete over pipe, and they will unalive you behind it. It's crazy. So when you are truly operating in your feminine energy as a feminine woman, you have to protect yourself from both untamed women and untamed men. That's a real thing. Everybody wants feminine energy, but you also got to remember, people come into that space and they want to drain that feminine energy. So it's your responsibility to protect it. That's why it tells you to guard your heart above everything else, because from it flows life, in Proverbs 4:23. Okay? So a lot of times women who are hyper competent, who are so smart, who are so this, they be judging the hell out of women who be in their feminine energy. They be judging the hell out of women because they be feeling like they lazy and you just want a man to do this. Girl, who don't want help? Girl, who? Because let me tell you something. Yes, I can go and do this, but if it's a man right here, yes, I'm going to get him to do it. What do you mean? Yes, I'm going to tap into the fullness of my essence. Yes. Yes. Why wouldn't I do that? Why aren't you? Because you don't know how. And because you weren't taught the value of yourself. That's the truth. And it's okay, because a lot of us were taught to be like, Do this, do this, do this, go here, do that. And a lot of that, you could be like, oh, my mom, it's her fault. It ain't their fault. They taught you based on what they valued in their generation when they were growing up. That's all they could give you. They taught you what they knew. Now that you are knowing something different, it's your responsibility to do something different. Get off your folks' head. They can't teach you what they don't know and what they didn't know. They only teach you based on their values. Okay? Boom is still talking about some, y'all need to be paying into Social Security. Millennials are and Gen Z already know, ain't for to be no Social Security for us. We know that. But they still talking about it. That's what I'm saying. Different generations value different things. Know what works best for you. But I'm telling you, a lot of women judge the hell out of women who really know how to understand power dynamics and who know how to use their feminine energy to win. They truly do. Okay? So again, you low-key don't trust the women who really are soft, and you question if they're serious. You question if they have a brain. Them folks be super smart. Folks can say what they want to say. They be smart, honey. Be smart. Okay? Also, another pattern, you're more comfortable with being the safe space than having one. Everybody's safe space. Where's your safe space? Hurry up, answer me quickly. Where's your safe space? Oh, you don't have none? Thank you, my love, for these gifts, for these likes. Then why are you holding space for somebody else and you don't have a safe space? It sounds like you need to be your own safe space first. How are you expecting to attract protection when you don't protect yourself? You're not an energetic match for that. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, these comments. It's not making sense. Some of you are also in the pattern where you're scared if you actually soften up, you won't be able to bring the strong version of you back out on command. I don't know why you feel like that. Because please, I am very much so in my softness, in this, in that. But I also give, she ain't it. She ain't the one for that. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, because I'm not. I am just as kind as they can come. People will tell you, I'm so loving. I'm so nurturing. I got, je ne sais quoi. You understand? But don't ever think that you can play with me because I am not she. Okay? I will leave you in the dust. You can never spin a block back on me ever, 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 ever again. I leave the first sign of disrespect. I don't play them games. You can never play with me because I don't play about me. And nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply ain't paying attention. I'm always paying attention, and I don't give permission to things I don't want. And I don't participate in things that I don't want to do. It don't make me feel good because I like pleasure. I don't like pain. I'm not a glutton for pain, please, okay? So understand all the things that I'm saying, though. You're not crazy for feeling that way. You literally simply, or how can I say this? You simply have been emotionally overdeveloped in holding and emotionally underdeveloped in being held. Let that sit for 1 second. I'm going to say it one more time. You're not crazy for feeling the way that you've been feeling about certain things. Okay? Thank you, love y'all. Praise to the Most High. You've simply just been in a space where you're emotionally overdeveloped and holding things in, holding on to people, holding everyone down, holding everyone up, holding everything together, doing this. And you're extremely emotionally underdeveloped in being held. So much so that it makes you uncomfortable. And your body has yet learned how to feel safe, how to feel desired, how to feel supported at the same time. That's why you're not getting it. You're not an energetic match for that. You can't defy science or spiritual law. And you're in violation of that when it comes to yourself. And that's why you keep meeting people that violate you. And these are the things that we have to really think about. Like, really. Okay? The real problem isn't that you're too strong. The real problem is your body has never really experienced sustained safety without performing for it. And that's just different. You don't need balance. You need your nervous system to stop equating tension with safety. Thank you, my love, for these gifts. You need your body to stop equating usefulness with worth. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these comments. You have to stop, or how can I say this? Your heart, okay? You need your heart to just stop equating over giving with love, okay? You need your identity to stop equating control with survival. The shift doesn't come from thinking differently. That's why these concepts that you keep learning that's new, neuroscience, this is why I tell you need to study psychobiology before you even get into neuroscience. You're not ready for neuroscience. You don't understand your psychobiology, and which is what I teach in my courses, okay? The shift does not come from you thinking differently. The shift comes from you relating differently to yourself, to your sensations, to your connection. And this is why I do the work that I do. This is why I do the work that I do. One of the things that I created to be able to support women who are hyper-competent, I created Love in the Nervous System. It's not a how to get a man class. Okay, so if that's what you're looking for, no. Now, I will keep it real with you and tell you women have taken that class and gotten better results with the masculine. That is true. But let me tell you something about this so you don't get caught up in that outcome. That's why I don't really like talking about the results that women get from me when it comes down to men, because y'all focus too much on the men, and it ain't even that. I told you one of my modalities is that I'm a certified energetic psychology practitioner. I understand the energetics of your emotions and how they impact your organs and how attraction really works and how it's science and all these things, okay? So what I need you to grasp and understand that this is not that type of class, but you do hold your questions for me towards the end, love. I got like 2 more things and I got you, so don't let me forget your question. With the whole Love in the Nervous System class, you will have better interactions with the masculine, but that's because you become better. It don't have nothing to do with them. With the results that you get from them, and they be emailing me still talking about they still be getting results. The results that you get from them is a byproduct of you working on you. Don't lose the plot. Don't piss me off by losing the plot. They were never the plot. Put in the comments for me, they were never the plot, because I need everybody to understand they were never the plot. Okay? Those other people are supporting actresses or actors. Do you understand? Supporting actors. There's a main character. There's a plot. They ain't a part of that. Okay? They're not a part of that. Supporting actors only. Do you understand? Everybody else getting fired. Okay? Because you're the hiring director, the casting director. You the one running the movie now. Okay? Please. Don't piss me off. They were never the plot. You were the plot. Love in the Nervous System is for you. What you get from it, and when you start sending them emails talking about all this and changing your life and all that, that's wonderful. You the plot. Okay? Hi, Lovey. So again, this is not how to get a man class. It's not a look at your attachment style and call it a day class. This is a container where it maps the roles you've been playing in love and connection. It shows you how your nervous system is actually driving your choices around men and money. Y'all be forgetting about the money. Get your own money. Please. Love in the Nervous System also is a container where we separate love from labor in your body. Stop struggling for love. Stop working hard for love. Stop pissing me off with that. Please. It's bad for your body. I'm telling you all of this in the class. Because I'm sick of y'all getting sick and getting on here whining about talking about how they drain y'all. Stop being drained. And learn what you need to learn. Okay? It also is going to teach your system what safe intimacy feels like without overfunctioning. It's going to teach you how to build a new baseline where being held doesn't feel like danger. Inside of Love in the Nervous System, we work with hyper-independence. I used to be hyper-independent. I used to be anxiously attached. You didn't text me back in 2 minutes. I was taking it to hell, okay? I'm extremely secure attached now. People have to find me, literally. Okay? So inside we work with hyper-independence. Emotional over responsibility, choosing people you have to fix. Choosing people you have to fix. You are not God. Okay? You are not God. Oh, the class is in the bio, boo. It's in the bio already. It's called Loving the Nervous System. But hold tight. Give me a little bit more. Okay? Inside of the class, we also work on turning into the therapist in every dynamic. We undoing that. We don't give free therapy. We don't do that. We don't do that, okay? We also work with the panic that comes up when real care shows. See, when that real get in your face, you get a little nervous. The first time you get your real big girl payment in business, you get a little nervous. She just paid me $15,000. Yeah, you better get that right, huh? Ooh, I didn't met a grown man. Ooh, yeah, you better get yourself together, huh? Okay? So we deal with the little panic that you be having in that little space right there. So loving the nervous system is for you. Thank you for the follows and the loves. Loving the nervous system is for you if you're tired of being a strong woman with no landing place. If you're tired of emotional, or how can I say, if you're tired of emotionally parenting adults. Yeah. If you crave tenderness, but your body braces against it, if you're ready to feel safe and soft without losing your power. So if you're listening to this and your chest getting a little tight, your eyes get a little water, your body saying, yeah, this is the next level of work I need to do, then Loving the Nervous System is what you need to get. You can click the link in the bio to get access to Loving the Nervous System. Loving the Nervous System is $222. You can get it with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. Now, here's the second aspect. Some of you may be listening to this and could be thinking, yeah, this is me, but my whole life feels like a lot right now. I'm not, how can I say this? I'm not just over functioning in love. I'm fried overall. Like I'm completely fried. If you are fried, for you, this step, okay, may not be going straight into love work. You'll need to be focusing on that. You need a baseline reset first. And I'm going to keep it real with you. You need a baseline reset first, and that's where emotional foundations comes in, okay? In emotional foundations, this is a different class. This is where we stabilize your nervous system. This is where we interrupt your cycles or your emotional collapse cycles, okay? This course is a audio-based course. Why is it an audio-based course? Because I want it in your body. Like I said, if I give you a video, you're going to have to watch it. Loving the Nervous System is a video. You need to be engaged with that one. That's a video on purpose. Emotional Foundations is not a video because your nervous system needs to hear what I'm saying, and you need to write down, because you get the workbooks and the worksheets, what your answers, so you can write it down and make it plain. That's writing the vision down and making it plain. That's you getting clarity on where your life is currently so you can shift and align properly with the right vision. Because without a vision, the people will perish. This is why if you don't know your baseline with your bloodline, your blood, you don't need to be going doing 50 million detoxes. You need to focus on what is your baseline. What is your starting point? You understand? So we're talking about the starting point of your emotional baseline. We're talking about interrupting cycles that make you break down. So I'm teaching you how not to break down, because what is finna happen in the next 4 years is attempting to break a lot of people down spiritually, mentally, emotionally, so that they act out physically. And they got a place for you to go if you act out physically. They have places for you to go. They're building even more places for you to go if you act out physically. That's why they made reality TV a public thing, because they made dysfunction public. They made it okay for you to act a fool in public. They wanted to do that on purpose, to train you, to prepare you, to make you physical slaves. You think I'm playing? You think I'm lying? Keep your eye on where the money is going. Where the money resides is always going to tell you what's going on. And you need to start paying attention. So resetting and being able to set your emotional baseline is going to be extremely important. You cannot afford to collapse. You still got things to do. Okay? In emotional foundations, this is also what you're going to get. You're going to build daily, realistic grounding for real life. You're going to start untangling guilt around rest, saying no, and lowering your load. You're going to give your body proof that it's safe to come out of constant emergency mode. So if you know that I'm not stable enough, or emotionally to hold the changes of the things I say I want, then Foundations is where you should start. And you can click the link in the bio to get access to Foundations. Foundations is $333. Now, if you are in a space where you are sick of repeating the same patterns over and over and over again, and you can't seem to break the pattern initially or crack the pattern open, I have a pattern recognition lens that you can get that's in my bio for $97. It is going to help you expose the pattern in full totality. It's going to stop you when you get triggered emotionally before you act out. This pattern recognition lens is going to save you from repeating continuous patterns that are draining you. You can click the link in the bio to get the PDF 5-page outline of how to do that, what that looks like, and going through the process. It is something that you can activate right now. All three of those courses, or all three of those things that I offered you, from pattern recognition lens for $97, and all these you can get with Klarna, Firm, and Afterpay. Love and Nervous System for $222, and Emotional Foundations for $333. All of these particular programs are going to support you in getting to the root of what's happening internally. I'm not giving you no mindset work. I'm recalibrating your life. This is why when women come to work with me, they make more money. And they don't make little money, they make big money. This is why when women come to work with me, they quantum jump into new health goals and they lose weight. This is why when women come to work with me, they all of a sudden start attracting better relationships with the masculine and cultivating beautiful relationships with the feminine. It's because they have reset the baseline. They understand detachment. They are not attached to the things of this world, and they understand their patterns, which prevent them from living piss poor lives. So your responsibility now is to decide what you want to do. Is your issue the patterns? Is your issue your attachments? Or is your issue your inability to stabilize your emotions? You have 3 solutions to be able to support you right now. That's going to help you right now. This ain't no, oh, I'm going to do this and it's going to help a little bit. No, if you implement it, you see results. You better ask about me. You better ask about me. My track record is long, beloved. My receipts are true. I've helped hundreds of women all over the entire world come into full-fledged emotional authority, come into the full-fledged identity of themselves. Have supported women in becoming, they're almost at $1 million businesses. So, and I built a multi-6-figure business from the ground up myself. So when I tell you I'm not new to it, I'm very true to it. It's all about what you want to do. So if you are struggling, if you just keep repeating a pattern and you want to bust it wide open so you can stop, get the pattern recognition lens. Hi, Lovey. Thank you for coming in. If you are struggling with your attachments and dealing with the masculine around money and men, then get Love and Nervous System. If you are struggling to regulate to get to your baseline, you are easily reactive. People can say something to you, you just can't control yourself. You need Emotional Foundations. All of these things are going to activate one of the most powerful fruits of the spirit that you are going to need, and that is self-control. Thank you. Also, your wisdom that can heal and heal my weak masculine traits. Help me heal my weak masculine traits. All praises. So I want you to understand that it's self-control. And what is the one thing that keep getting people in trouble when you keep seeing these celebrities and these coaches and different things? They lack self-control. This brother then turned around and lost 30 million. You lost 30 million? I don't. And then you got another brother had to pay 20-something million because he couldn't get himself together. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit for a reason. And it's not even about really sex. It's about being in control of yourself, being in control of your own mind, being in control of your own self. You are so outside of your body with the spirit of perversion that you can't control the fact, or you're not even thinking about your inheritance for your children. See, I don't care nothing about the adults who make the decisions, but the children who lose financial inheritance and who gain the reputation of a man who has no self-control is crazy work. Them kids didn't ask for that. Them kids didn't even have to be here. How self-centered. How untamed. Hmm. Hmm. I know this right. Bloodline ramifications. Exactly. How dare these people build all this stuff up and detonate it before your children can even get access? Self-control is the fruit of the spirit for a reason. And if you struggle with self-control, those 3 products will support you. The pattern recognition lens for $97, the Love and the Nervous System course for $222 that comes with the workbook and everything, and then also Emotional Foundations, which is basically a 6-module, 6-week reset baseline. Do not go into 2026 with no self-control. You finna play yourself. You finna play yourself. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions before I get ready to get off here? Click the link in the bio to get access to these things. And let me say this too: you can only get so much information from my lives. You're gonna have to get, if you want to actually see transformation and activation, you're so welcome. You're gonna have to get into one of these programs, one of these courses, so you can really see true consistent shifts in your life, because I break down the science of everything behind closed doors. And that requires an investment of your time, your energy, your attention, and your money. Your money is the least and the cheapest of these things. Okay? I need your time, your energy, and your attention, because if you give me your time, your energy, and attention towards the things that I'm teaching you, you will see things shift in your reality. You will quantum jump. My results are just that. So any questions before I get off here? Drop them in the comments. Because I'm about to go. True, recognizing the ability to have access to divine feminine is a gift. Yes, it is. I didn't get the email to review the diagnostic. You wouldn't get a email to review it. You would only get an email to get access to it, and then you would click the link to that was given to you in the email to take the diagnostic, and then you would copy and keep your own results. It doesn't email you results. And also, oh yeah, I do have a diagnostic exam. Yeah, for a minute it was free. It's no longer free. It's $42 for the diagnostic. You can click the link in the bio if you need to figure out what your patterns are. So if you need to figure out what your patterns are in relationships and different things, then click the link in the bio to get access to the Feminine Architecture Diagnostic. It's going to let you know what you attract and all these different things. Oh, I took it. You mentioned that. I reviewed it last time. Yeah, if you got it when you got it originally, to copy and paste it and review it for yourself. Which ones cover all the above? The 6-week course. Yes, the 6-week course is where you would start. If you want to get it across the board and be able to get yourself together, I would recommend the 6-week course. You're welcome, Lovey. When you try to see the good side in things, why does society not like to be around you? I don't want to assume about your question, so let me read it again so I can digest it for myself. When you try to see the good side of things, why does, I know you're saying do, but why does society not like to be around you? I'm not going to say that society doesn't like being around you when you see the good side of things. I think it just depends on the energy that you're interacting with. If you're dealing with a person who's consumed with the spirit of bitterness blocks abundance. And so because bitterness blocks abundance, A person with a bitter root can't see the bright side of things. Life is very sour to them. There is no sweetness left in life. So for you to bring sweetness into their space, it's almost like it's non-existent. So they're going to resist that because they're bitter at the root. So trying to have a conversation with someone who is not seeing things through your lens just exposes that they have a different perception of life, and their perception of life is their reality. Though perception is not always true reality, that is their reality, and that's the reality that they're committed to. So anything that comes against that reality is going to be resisted. Okay, so if a person is not trying to see the good of something, then they're not going to see the good of something. You don't, if it's the goodness to you, then let it be the goodness to you. It's not something that you have to force on anyone else as well. It's the goodness to you. Every relative of mine that's bitter has diabetes. That's interesting. Yes, there's a book by Louise Hay called You Can Heal Your Life or Heal Your Life. And it says in diabetes that the root of diabetes is no sweetness left in life, almost bitter to the root. Every illness has in which it makes sense of why they stuff sugar for the most part, especially type 2s, sugar or eat things down their throat, because that's the only sweetness that they can find is in food. Okay. Let's see. Yes, I tend to hold back from expressing my thoughts to people because I assume they'll not understand. Don't seek to be understood. I don't seek to be understood. My people will know me. My people will hear me, and my people will align with me. I'm not concerned about being understood by the masses. The people I'm in community with, I desire for them to understand, which is why I provide additional clarity. But even if it got to a point where they didn't understand after I provided additional clarity, then they just don't understand. Release the need, release yourself from the shackles of being understood by people. Why is that necessary for you? Why is that necessary for your baseline? When will you be live again so I can tell the ladies and girls in my family, please and thank you? I don't know. I just normally come on live weekly. I'm actually going to be doing a lot of shifting and doing things more so on my Substack because I'm starting a podcast over there as well. But I think that's going to be behind a paywall because I'll be giving out a lot of game. I'm going to be using a lot more of my voice, I plan, in 2026, and not so much of my visuals, which is why I tell people it's best to get behind the closed doors with me if you want the real juice. Hey, my baby. She said, I remember you telling us this as kids. Yes. Let me see. Any other questions? Like I said, click the link in the bio to get access to the pattern recognition lens for $97, love and nervous system for $222, emotional foundations for $333. You can get them all with Klarna, Affirm, and Afterpay. Should you have any issues or run into any issues, feel free to email me because y'all know I do not play about y'all getting y'all stuff. So definitely let me know. But I hope that y'all have an amazing day. I have got to go. Y'all be well, do well. Click the link in the bio to subscribe to my Substack and become a paid member to get the strategy. I'm dropping a paid letter today for my paid members. So go on over there, subscribe to my YouTube, all that great stuff. I hope that y'all have an amazing day. Self-care is the key fundamental of every single relationship. You set the tone of how people treat you by the way you treat yourself. And you should treat yourself exceptionally well because you deserve it. All right. Peace, y'all.